So today we are going to talk about the recap that we have done till now, and then we'll talk about some leadership styles. Okay, what is the leadership approach, and how can you manage difficult and different type of stakeholders using your different kind of leadership styles? You may use different kind of powers, right? And to ensure that everybody is following your guidelines for your project. You don't have to be act nice all the time. If it is important, we need to take some strict actions. Okay, so we are going to talk about some recap. For example, we know that when we start a project, in that project, we start with initiation. Sometimes we have pre-initiation phase as well, where we decide whether we have to do something or not. For example, if we are talking about movies, the pre-initiation phases, I'm thinking of a movie which will have three kind of uh, concepts of time travel. This is called pre-initiation phase, right? And then you decide on something, then work with your team to work on initiation. In initiation, you need to talk to your very important stakeholders like client, project sponsor. It start with client and the person who is salesperson or account manager initially. Then usually we talk to project sponsor, and then they allot or allocate a project manager. Maybe they can allocate or hire project manager from inside the organization, or they can hire a project manager from outside the organization. It's called hiring, or they can ask for a contractual job. This is the approach of hiring a project manager or any resource. After you get project manager, now project manager will talk to all the relevant stakeholders to find project scope document. What is there, what not. And before that, you need to talk to project sponsor and other senior members to find what is the business case. All right? So just try to understand why everything is connected. Project management, I will repeat, project management, whenever we talk about different subjects like risk management, stakeholder management, principles of project management, or stakeholder management, communication management, cost management, schedule management, these are not different subjects, not different courses, but emphasis on something in that course. Ideally, we should not have that many courses. We should have one project management course where we study and work on a real project. But as per our college requirement, we have to work on different courses and we need to emphasize on something. But most of the time, we will have almost similar content and everything will be almost covered. For example, if we will talk about project cost management, then obviously we have to work on project schedule management, because without WDS or schedule, we cannot work on project cost. Okay, that's why our project stakeholder management, communication management is everywhere. Okay, okay. So now we are going to talk about leadership approaches. For example, if you are a project manager, most of the time, project managers will be acting like a leader. It's a leadership and senior position. Millions of dollars are there for you to complete the project. So in that case, you need to ensure that everything is fine. Right? So now let's talk about different type of leadership approach. We will have lots of traits like intelligence, personality, and abilities, right? For example, if we are talking about intelligence, the challenge is whenever we talk about leaders, most of the time leaders are born that way. It means those leaders are not made. Okay, you have some qualities inherently when you born, but it doesn't mean that nobody can be a leader. Yes, you can be a good leader if you practice things well. Okay, it will be time consuming process, but you can learn how to handle, how to respond to your team members, and based on such things, you can handle a lots of challenges. Okay, we talk about judgment. It's basically intelligence kind of trait where you have to pass your judgment, like you have expert judgment to decide what to do, what not. If I ask you that how much time it will take for us to go to Niagara Falls from Toronto or Brampton, the answer will be somebody will say 3 hours, somebody will say 5 hours. But I will talk to somebody who already traveled a few times from Toronto, GTA to Niagara Falls. It will be called expert judgment. All right. So these things are basically trait where we talk about intelligence, knowledge, and fluency of speech. When we talk to somebody, what we speak is important, but how we speak becomes more important. In a communication book, I have seen that there are two types of communications. Number one is verbal communication. Number two is non-verbal communication. If communication is 100%, what do you think? What is the percentage role of non-verbal and verbal? So here we can, based on some research, I'm just telling you research data, not from anywhere else. So as per the research data, I have seen that verbal communication is only 7% and 93% is almost non-verbal communication. Okay. So whatever you speak, how you speak will determine how intelligent you are. And if we talk about personality, it is adaptability. How can you adapt to a new situation? How are you alert to understand new things? What is your creative ability? It's called creativity. Creativity is very important because if we are talking about some problem that was not there till now and solution is not was not mentioned in any books or any document, then you have to work on your creativity to find relationship among previous activities and actions, and then use your creativity to find desired outcomes, or you need to take an informed decision based on your creative skills. All right. Next is personal integrity. For a leader, it becomes very important and you have integrities intact. What does that mean? Suppose if you have a team members, around 10 team members, and somebody want a favor from you and you said no, but after some time somebody else want the same favor and you said yes this time. It's called integrity issue. You must have a reason why you are saying no or yes to somebody, and it should be consistent. Okay, suppose if you have to give time off to your team members, so in that case it becomes very important for us that it should be consistent. If somebody want extra time off then in that case, you need to find lots of evidence why this person want extra time off, and why you are giving extra time off to that team member. Making sense? All right. And you should have some self-confidence. Self-confidence means whenever you speak confidently. And I'm not saying that you should be overconfident. You can speak few things with completely confidence if you are sure that this is the thing. And if something is you are not sure, you can say it like this way. I'm not sure about this, that we can reach to this target, but I'm sure about path B. If we use path B, we have 100% success rate. What is going to happen now? If you say that for part A or path A, I'm not sure what will be the success rate, but path B is 100% sure. What is going to happen? Now everybody will say that, okay, take path B because you are sure. It's called self-confidence. Okay, and now emotional balance and control. Now it's very important for a leader to have better balance for emotional support. Okay, so say we are managing human people. In that case, what is important that everybody must be handled properly. And if we are handling emotional issues properly, we are going to take proper right decisions. Okay, so you can understand that emotional decisions are not easy to take. It is okay to take a decision where you have one wrong path and one right path. Okay, but the challenge will occur when you have one right path and another is also right path. Which one you select? That is still fine. You will take one right decision. But what will happen if you have you have two options only, and both of them are bad for the society. You must be here. If you don't know about that trolley problem, the trolley problem is talking about taking bad decisions if both of the decisions are bad. The story is like this. You are working as a station master, and there are 5 workers working on a track. A train is coming at full speed in the train station. Brakes are failed. You cannot stop the train, and all the communication doesn't work. 4 people are working on the track, but you have one option only. If you pull the lever, then train will go to another path where only one worker is working. If you pull the trigger, then only one worker will die. Now the question is, what will you do? You have to take a decision. If you don't take a decision, all 5 will die. Means 4 will die. 5. And if you will pull the trigger, then one person will die. Can you write down your answer? This is a trolley problem. In the trolley problem, you have 2 bad decisions. So you don't have choice. Only 2 choices. You cannot stop the train. If you don't do anything, 5 workers will die. If you change the track, then one person will die. Now here we are going to take lots of considerations, ethical challenges, right? So in leadership, it will happen multiple times. You have to think of those ethical challenges. Like if you do nothing, you will be responsible for killing 5. If you change the lever, then you will be directly responsible for killing 1. Okay, there are many aspects. Okay, if we have some kind of poll, then we are going to identify that many of us will pull that trigger and let one person die and save five life. If we change the situation little bit, same train, now it's going under the bridge, and there is a very heavy man standing there, and you also standing there on the bridge. Don't think logic. Just consider if you push that person by your hand, this person will get down in the track and magically train will stop. Okay, one person will die. Again, now what is going to happen? You will have lots of ethical challenges now. Because you don't want to kill anybody by your hand. Decision is fine. You can take a decision, okay? Let's change the track. Okay? But the challenge will occur when we are going to, right? The challenge will occur when we are going to push somebody by our hand. That's why people avoid one-on-one interaction. They send letters of termination. They don't talk to somebody and say, okay, based on something, you're fired. Saying something is bad. We ask human resource managers to communicate that decision. Okay, that's a very complicated issue for ethics and decisions. And leaders always have to take such a decisions. Now, example of those leaders are chief minister, prime ministers, or local elements, MLAs, and MPs, member of parliament and something. All right. So this is how we handle lots of ethical challenges. Now, the example was kind of very old and unpractical, but we have a lot of practical application of that decision as well. What is that? Practical application of such a decision or dilemma could be self-driving car. You understand? Self-driving cars have to take decisions. Obviously, they can, if self-driving car like Tesla is going somewhere and there's only one way and got two targets, like two pedestrians. One side, one child, second side, one adult. What do you think the decision could be? Obviously brake, yes, but if you brake it, then car will drag and both will die. So car will think that instead of killing both, I will not push the brake. I can change the direction, either left or right, so that I can save one. So what do you think the car should do? And what do you think the car can think? Car cannot think that things unless you will you give some inputs of ethical challenges. So those kind of ethics is now very important in self-driving cars or machines where artificial intelligence is involved. All right. Now IFCC also using artificial intelligence to give quick visa decisions. Till now, all the processes are manual, but there are some easy cases where there is no exception. The file is very clear, everything is fine. So those cases are going to artificial intelligence system. It's not going to visa officer. But yes, it is still going to visa officer to check everything is fine, and then it becomes very easy for a visa officer to just verify two things and then decide, accept or approve. Okay, and now we'll talk about abilities. Like ability is important. We need to understand what is ability to enlist cooperation, how to work with others. I know it's easy if you want, if I give you one task and you do it yourself. It will become complicated whenever I will give you a group task. Understand the challenge with group task? If it is a big task, it will become challenge. Cooperativeness. How are you cooperative? Are you helping others? Okay. Popularity and prestige, right? You need to think of popularity, how popular you are. You must be working on prestige. Okay. You must have interpersonal skills. Like everybody should be feeling good when they talk to you. Okay? Social participation, engage with others, tact and diplomacy. Diplomacy is not a negative word, it's a word which is going to help you to understand that if we are saying something, it should be politically correct. It should not be exactly incorrect so that people will feel bad about it. Okay, let's take a 5 minutes break and then we'll continue. Okay, so next topic is leadership attributes. If we talk about a cross-cultural view. Okay, so there are some leadership attributes that everybody like. Like what? Trustworthy? Obviously. If somebody is trustworthy, everybody is going to like it. There is no point. Dynamic, motive arouser, decisive, intelligent, dependable, who plans ahead, who is excellence oriented, team builder, and encouraging. These type of attributes everybody is liking. Like there is no point discussing on that why somebody is liking it. For example, everybody wants a leader who is trustworthy. You can rely on that person. Okay, it should be that person should be dependable. If you tell that person to do something, the work is done, no matter how difficult it is. Your leader is going to do that. Now, what are the things you don't like? Obviously, no cooperative, irritable, egocentric. Now, the challenge is egocentric is a very difficult thing to solve. As somebody becomes senior member in a team, they become kind of egoistic. Again, we are working on project management, but why we are talking about it? We're talking about it because we need to know. We need to work with various kind of leaders, wherein various people, right? They have their own needs of to satisfy their ego. So even if we have some difficult stakeholders, so this is the quality of a difficult stakeholder. Okay, ruthless, directional, loner, or self-centered. It means that person is not involving others while taking a decision. Okay, there are many people who will be like that. I'll tell you why. If somebody have a very good command over Excel, MS Project, and few more data management tools or software, then what will happen? They are not going to teach anybody. Sometimes they don't want to teach anybody because teaching will take time, and new person will also take very much extra time to complete those activities. So they are self-centered. They will learn, and then they will work on that. So that's why loners and self-centered people are there, right? Then these are attributes over which there was most disagreements, like subdued, intragroup, conflict avoider, cunning, sensitive, provocateur, self-afflicting, and willful. Okay, so if we talk about leadership approaches, like behavioral approaches, so leaders' action determine their effectiveness. Okay, you need to understand whatever leader's action is there, based on that, you will get support. Your manager, suppose if you have a manager of 5 and that manager is going to different places with you initial few days, then you will think that person is basically helping us, right? Now, if we talk about various approaches, so Ohio State Studies, University of Michigan Studies, and managerial groups. We are going to talk about these things later on. All right. So before going to that in detail, we'll talk about what is it. The behavioral theories focus on how leaders behave and assume that leaders can be made rather than born. And successful leadership is based on definable, learnable behavior. Okay? The behavior theory of leadership are classified as such because they focus on the study of specific behaviors of a leader. All right. Now we are going to talk about Ohio State studies. In 1945, Bureau of Business Research. Do you know what is bureau? Bureau is office in French. This is a French word. Interesting, right? Since we are in Canada, we should learn kind of French. And CRS score is very low. Cutoff score is very low if you learn French. Okay, so that's another advice, but this is not a legal advice. So talk to your immigration consultant before taking any decisions. It is only directional advice. The teachers can give you directional advice. It's not something that you need to follow. It is to give you some idea what else you can do. All right. So here is studies in 1945. The Bureau of Business Research at Ohio State University initiated series of studies on leadership. These studies sought to identify independent dimensions of leader behavior. Okay, what are the components are there? It is initiating structure, the extent to which a leader is likely to define and structure his or her role, and those of subordinates in research in search for goal attainment. Consideration is the extent to which a leader is likely to have job relationship characterized by mutual trust, respect of subordinates' ideas, and regard for their feelings. Okay, if you go to detail, you'll see this here, like consideration behavior and initiating structure behavior. So if initiating structure behavior is high and consideration behavior is high, we call it human relations. If consideration behavior is high and initiating structure behavior is low, it is laissez-faire. If consideration behavior is low and initiating structure is high, it is autocratic. Okay, and if both things are high, then it becomes democratic. Now, quadrant in which consideration behavior and initiating structure are low, known as, what do you think? Both are low. See, it's laissez-faire. Option A is correct. Okay. Now, University of Michigan Studies says that it is basically employee-oriented leader, emphasizing interpersonal relations, taking a personal interest in the needs of employees and accepting individual differences among members. Okay. A product-oriented leader means to emphasize technical or task aspects of the job. Okay. So before studying this in detail, let's see this also. After that, we are going to take a short break of 5 minutes again. So leadership behavior is increased leader control, where we have close supervision, job-centered, general, employee-oriented, and laissez-faire. This is how we see the increased leader control. And you can see increased employee involvement. If we have more control, we have less involvement. So you need to find a way where you have some control also. At the same time, they are involved. Okay? You don't say that you need to follow only one kind of approach. Okay, based on your situation, make sure you adapt your right approach. Fine. So let's talk about managerial grade. What is it? And how we will use it in our project. So managerial grade model is created in 1964. It is a style leadership model developed by Robert and Jane. Okay, this model originally identified 5 different leadership styles. Okay, based on concern for people and concern for production. Try to understand when you are managing a team in a company, you need to think of leaders. As a leader, you have to think of people and you have to think of the company. Correct? Both. And you need to find a balance. You can't say that you are a people manager but production will be down. You can't say that production will be good but team members will be sad. All right. So this is how it looks like. So left side is people for concern for people, like how you are thinking for people. And you can see down, it is concern for production. And you can see high and low. If you have high concern for production and low concern for people, then it is not bad, not good. Okay, something is low is bad because you should be concerned for production. You should be concerned for people as well. Okay, it is improve variable management. It's called 1.1. Why it is bad? Because here you need to think, you are not thinking for management and you're not thinking for employees as well. Suppose if you have people for concern for people high and concern for production is low, this country club management, like everything for people, not for company. And if you have concern for people is very low and concern for production very high, it is called 9.1, where you have task management only. You just concern about task. And if you have high concern for people and high concern for production, it is team management, 9.9. Okay, so you're thinking for people and you're thinking for production as well, company as well. And 5.5 is middle of the road. You have some concern for people and some concern for production. Now, let's talk about advantages of the managerial grid model. So it helps. So managers help to analyze their leadership style through a technique known as grid training. And managers identify how they are concerned for production and people. Sometimes we don't know about our style unless we participate in question answer series and get to know what is right, what is wrong with us, and how can we improve that. Okay, but there will be some limitations of this model. Limitations means what are the things we cannot do with that. Like this model ignores the importance of internal and external limits, matters, and scenarios. Not one project is same as other. Sometimes we can have more focus on people. Sometimes we need to have more focus on production. How can we say that one approach is better and one approach is not? Okay, so this model doesn't give answers to these things. Okay, there is some more aspect of leadership that can be covered, but are not covered in this model. That we can learn few more things. Leadership is a big topic. Okay, if we are working on stakeholder management, you need to improve your leadership style understand what kind of leader you are, and then improve your style. Okay, so 1.1 manager grade is known as improvise management, task management, country club management, middleware management, or team management. What do you think? I think option A is correct. Okay, and if we talk about 5.5, managerial grid is known as, it is, you can see that in that previous chart, 1 was lowest, 9 was highest number, and if it is 5.5, if it is 5.5, then it is middle of the road. Let's go back and see again. See, this is the leadership managerial grid. Now, let's talk about leadership approaches. So there are some situational approaches. Leaders' effectiveness depend on the situation. Okay, so whenever we have a different kind of situation, how you react and how you change your answers, that becomes very important to manage a project or any operation. Suppose if you are working for a research-based company, what is important in research? Quality of research. Quality means what you want to find, you have to make extra effort in your mind. It's not something that you come to office, working a few things and go back. Your mind should work constantly to find research or outcome of research. But if you are working in a translation company where you have to check some translations and you have to just click okay, yes, it is translated correctly, you have to read it and then okay, read it and then okay. In that case, what is important, that everybody in your team must sit in front of computer and read those documents and approve. Here, quality is fine, but quality is, you can see that, but quantity is matters. In that case, you must work with approach of managing tasks. And you always manage and create a balance between number of tasks and how many people are there. Okay, so there are some kind of situational characteristics where you have some task oriented things, some relationship oriented things. All right, so we need to understand what is very favorable situation, what is very unfavorable situation. Now, if we talk about leadership approaches, here employee characteristics are ability, locus of control, need of clarity, need of achievement, and experience. And categories of leaders could be clarifying path, achievement oriented, facilitating tasks, being supportive, facilitating productive iteration, group decision making, networking, projecting values. Okay, there will be some environmental dimensions like task structure, work group dynamics, and then outcome could be increase employee confidence to achieve and clarify paths to desired rewards, establish challenging goals, utilizing full range of talents of all group members, increase need satisfaction, improve work performance, and reduce uncertainties. And that's how we can have effective leader. Let's talk about leadership approaches again. So, so Hartley and Blanchard used the Ohio State studies to further develop 4 leadership styles available for to managers like telling, selling, participating, and delegating. As we can see, these terms are self-explanatory. Let's talk about it. Like telling means the leader defines the roles needed to do the job and tells followers what, where, how, and when to do the task. That you are guiding your team end to end. That's what telling. Selling means the leader provides followers with structured instructions, but is also supportive. It means you are selling the ideas to team members. That this is how we are going to achieve, but that's up to you how we are going to achieve it. Like you give sales target, now the team will decide how they are going to approach the sales target. Participating, the leader and followers share in direction about how best to complete the high quality job. In that case, because this is very important, that both leaders and team members share in directions, means they discuss how to achieve that. That becomes a very important for us to finish the high quality job. Because most of the cases, if you are working as a leader, your team will be working on various machines or various things. As a leader, you may or may not be very good in understanding all the aspects of the task. In that case, you can have some guidelines from top management that what to do, how to do, but you need to talk to your team members who will be directly working with you and find a middle path. What is the right approach? Maybe they are doing something wrong. Maybe you are asking them to do something wrong. Okay, then we can have a middle common ground where you as a leader have some guidelines and discuss with your team members, and team members have their pattern of work, and both can work together to find a proper solution. And next is delegating. In delegating, the leaders provide little specific or close direction or personal support to followers. You delegate the task. Okay. Now they are doing it, and you need to provide support if required. All right. So here we can see task behavior and relationship behavior, like supportive behavior. Okay, if task behavior is low and relationship behavior is low, then it is delegating. If task behavior is low and relationship behavior or supportive behavior is high, then it will become participating, like you share ideas and facilitate in decision making. If task behavior is high and relationship behavior is low, then it is telling, like you will be providing specific instruction and closely supervise the performance. If task behavior is high and relationship behavior is also high, it is called selling. It means explain decisions and provide opportunity for clarifications. That's how we understand this point. Okay, now we have to check for weekly folder, and we need to check due date of our tasks. what is due. Sometimes we have activity that needs to be covered in this week, sometimes not. Please make sure you follow that and check. Okay, so now you need to follow the articles that I will be posting. I have posted on your portal in weekly content and participate in the quiz. It is ungraded quiz. This will be used for attendance only, right? If you have any question, feel free to ask using email. I am always active on email. I will be responding to you within 24 hours. If you have any question, don't hesitate to send me an email. Email is already announced in our announcement section. Do you have any question? So make sure you, after this lecture, you must have your questions noted down and try to find answers. Talk to your classmates. If you don't find answers, you can talk to me, and I will definitely going to respond to your emails. So that's all for today's class. If you have any question, you can definitely ask using chat or something.